abided by it, and we respected the court ruling, Mr. Speaker. This court ruling also must be respected.
And you better know that.
Yes, my good people, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Guys, nikikwambia mambo yamechemka, ujue tu yamechemka. JUNET. JUNET amejam completely. Yeye atoki ndani ya parliament kama hajapewa kuwa majority leader. Hiyo ndio message ya JUNET. And JUNET ameamua ku confront Wetangula face to face. Kwamba mahakama ishaamua majority leader inafaa itoke upande wa ODM. And now kumewaka moto. You want you to pay attention, guys. Nataka uangalie jinsi ambavyo hao watu wanajiharia. William Ruto, Wetangula wanajiharia tu. Juu even Wetangula pia kano na Kimani Chungwa kuwa kicked out. Wetangula pia story yake inakuja ikiwa mbaya tena zaidi. So nataka tuangalie pale jinsi ambavyo mambo yamechemka. Yamechemka completely. And they are now trying to beg people from ODM. Wanajaribu kuwa beg. Na wanajaribu kuclash pia. Unaona watu wangu. So wale wamejam completely. And this is the time to impeach William Ruto sasa, guys. So guys, kabla tuendelee, ensure umelike video kama kawaida. Guys, I have been telling you that hii channel imekuwa ikisupportiwa na wewe na imekuwa ikishikiliwa na wewe. So sina budi ila nikusema thanks so extensive kuendelea kusupport hii channel. Na zile moments unaenda kulike video, acha Mungu akutetee na akupiganie saa hii. Moments unaenda kulike tu hivi, guys, acha Mungu afungue malango yako na akutetee kwa kila kitu, akupiganie uweze kuprosper hapa nchini Kenya. Kwa hivyo guys, tunataka tuangalie macho zetu, tupeleke pale mahakamani, tupeleke pale kwenye parliament. Usikize venye mambo yamechemuka upande wa parliament. Juu ndo wameresume after kwenda likizo. Baada ya kuimpeach Rigathi Gachagua, hao watu wakaenda likizo. So wamerejea. Na wamerejea mambo yakiwaka zaidi. Wetangula na regret kwa nini alipewa kuwa national speaker. Ana regret juu kila kitu saizi wanaangalia yeye. Kila kitu wanaangalia yeye saizi. So sikiza.
Minority. The judgment never declared who is the majority. It is not the court to declare the majority. It is the speaker of this house. And you better know that. It is the speaker of the house to declare the majority.
We are ventilating about the judgment. We respect the courts. But again, it is these very laws that govern, as Honorable Speaker, that give you that power, as Honorable Speaker, to declare the majority and minority. So even as Honorable JUNET and the Honorable Millie, the Honorable Speaker, live on rented space, they should know that the final declaration of majority and minority comes from your seat, Honorable Speaker. But even
Mr. Speaker, first I want to say today that I am privileged to speak from the seat of the majority leader. Because, Mr. Speaker, even when I sat on the seat, it is very warm, Mr. Speaker, unlike mine, which was very cold, Mr. Speaker. I didn't know the seats of Parliament have different warmth, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I don't foresee myself leaving this seat anytime soon. I don't see myself leaving this one anytime. But having said, Mr. Speaker, as you are aware and as you have alluded to, Mr. Speaker, there is a court ruling. A ruling of court consisting of 3-judge bench, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a court ruling has only got 2 decisions, Mr. Speaker. There is no third way about it. One is to obey it. And secondly, if you have any avenue of appeal, you exercise that right of appeal, Mr. Speaker. There is no third way about it, Mr. Speaker. And the court ruling, what we went as a Azimio after the election, after your decision here, Mr. Speaker, what took us to court was for the court to interpret for us the constitutionality of your decision on who is the majority party and who is the minority party in this house, Mr. Speaker. And the issue of the Speaker came in as obiter, Mr. Speaker. But what took us to court, we wanted to know, because when we arrived here after the election, we arrived here knowing very well that we are the majority party, Mr. Speaker. And we are the numbers. But midway, we ended up losing numbers through your ruling, Mr. Speaker. And that is what took us to court, to ascertain whether we are the majority and whether we are the minority. And luckily, the court has made its ruling, albeit late, Mr. Speaker. We expected this ruling much earlier than this time, Mr. Speaker. But it is better late than never. The decision arrived, and the decision has said that the Azimio party is the majority party in Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And I so happen to be the minority leader as of now, Mr. Speaker. So today afternoon, I just switched seats and I took over the role of majority leader, Mr. Speaker. And I am capable of doing that work, Mr. Speaker. I have the capacity, I have the qualifications, I have the capabilities, I have the numbers in the House, Mr. Speaker, to lead, Mr. Speaker. I have everything what it takes, Mr. Speaker, to be the majority leader of this House, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, the issue that we need to exercise, to analyze, Mr. Speaker, is that, Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. Mr. Speaker, court rulings are very important, Mr. Speaker. You remember after the election, we disputed the result of the election. We ended up filing a court case in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court pronounced itself that we did not win the election, and the other party won the election, and we abided by it, and we respected the court ruling, Mr. Speaker. This court ruling also must be respected, Mr. Speaker. Because it's not like any other court ruling, Mr. Speaker. It's a ruling of the Court of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this ruling cannot be taken jokingly, Mr. Speaker. When I went through it last evening, Mr. Speaker, these judges are raising very serious fundamental issues. They are raising issues relating to violation of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. And you remember we impeached someone here because he violated the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if this matter is not addressed, we are going to have a constitutional crisis in this country, Mr. Speaker. So for that reason, Mr. Speaker, jurisdictions all over the world and democracies all over the world that we borrowed from, even this presidential system that we are running today, that is running in this country, Mr. Speaker. In the United States, there are times when the executive is from the Republican Party and the House is ruled by the Democratic Party, and life goes on. It doesn't matter that we are going to oppose everything that the government wants to do. If government brings here bills and policies that are of benefit to the country, we will support it, Mr. Speaker. And as you know now, many things have gone under the bridge. There is this animal called also broad-based, Mr. Speaker. We want to broaden, deepen, and tighten this relationship, Mr. Speaker. If I may borrow your words, we want to broaden it, deepen it, and tighten it, Mr. Speaker, so that we can have a country that is cohesive, Mr. Speaker.
So umeona guys, so hao watu timu ya William Ruto imeanza kujiharia yenyewe juu wana clash, wanasema ya kwamba wenye wanafaa kudeclare majority leader ni national speaker, but na upande wa ODM pia ndio wanasema nini, mwenye anafaa kudeclare majority leader washa declare ni mahakama tayari ishatoa uamuzi, inafaa ikuwe respected. Unaona watu wangu, ndiposa nchi ya Kenya iendelee. Bure tu mambo yanaenda kuchemka tena mabaya tena zaidi. So this is the time William Ruto anaenda kuwa impeached. Kama sio kwa impeached, hii ndio wakati William Ruto atakuwa anaenda nyumbani 2027. Unaona watu wangu, so kumechemka tena zaidi. Kwa hivyo your comments hakuna niambia kwenye comment section. Kwa hivyo guys, allow me to end from there. I'm Raipanda Evans. Kwa tuna siku njema hadi wakati mwingine. Bye bye.